You know, you guys, I'll just say that it's been a while since we've only seen one quarterback selected in the entire first round of any NFL draft. Because prior to this year, with E.J. Manuel being the last quarterback involved in this in the 2013 NFL draft, then came the Pittsburgh Steelers recreating this rarity this year, selecting Kenny Pickett with the 20th overall pick. And while there were many people initially skeptical with the pick in itself, it seemed that most of the things you actually heard regarding Kenny Pickett between actually being selected and leading up to Steelers training camp were negatives that literally had nothing to do with his actual play. I mean, seriously, some of these topics ranged from the fact that he wears 2 gloves to his hand size and even the fact that some people thought he was too old to waste a first round pick on. Nonetheless though, with everything we've seen so far in Kenny Pickett's very young NFL career so far, it would pretty much be an understatement to say that he has shocked most of the NFL world with what he's already been able to do just in the preseason, and what's even better about what we've seen if it's actually able to transition into the regular season might just be the craziest part about Kenny Pickett that nobody expected to see. One sec though guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NFL video. Love you guys. We're coming out with brand new videos every single week with the season finally here, you guys, so just believe me when I say it, you do not want to miss out. But anyway, to get back on topic with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think it's pretty safe to say that going into both training camp and the preseason, that they were showcasing one of the more competitive 3-way battles for a starting quarterback position that we have seen in the league in quite some time. And I know Mason Rudolph kind of stands as the odd man out, but nonetheless, he's still more competent than most third stringers would be. But with this, all eyes were very clearly focused on both new free agent acquisition Mitch Trubisky and of course Kenny Pickett. But even before the quarterback battle began in Pittsburgh, it seemed like the consensus around the league was that it was essentially Mitchell Trubisky's job to lose. Because as we did mention at the beginning of this video, with people consistently criticizing Kenny Pickett for some characteristics about him that he could do nothing to change, people also found ways to be skeptical about his actual game before taking any live reps in a Pittsburgh uniform. Because even after finishing with some ridiculous numbers at Pittsburgh his senior season, passing for over 4,300 yards and 42 touchdowns in a 13-game span, some of the biggest causes for concern that people were having an absolute field day with when discussing Kenny Pickett revolved around 2 main areas of his game regarding 1, his pocket presence, and 2, his inability to consistently connect on deep plays. And with hearing this, while most people were definitely excited to see what Kenny Pickett could do in the preseason, most people, and I think even Steelers fans included, were expecting Mitchell Trubisky to be their QB1 for at least the majority of the beginning of this season. And well you guys, while it is being fairly discussed throughout the NFL world, I truly still don't think it is being emphasized enough how impressive it is what we are currently seeing from Kenny Pickett. Because through both training camp and the preseason games he participated in, he wasn't just impressing Steelers fans and coaches more than people expected, but it's gotten to the point where if he isn't named the starting quarterback for week 1, I genuinely think that there will be many people out there that are not just surprised, but are also a little bit angry with this decision. Because when we actually sit down and compare the side-by-side numbers from both Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett throughout this preseason, while again, it is just preseason, it can not only be said that Kenny Pickett kept his ground when competing with Mitch Trubisky, but the case can also be made that he flat out outplayed him, and not just through the numbers we're looking at, but through some of the ridiculous plays he made along the way as well. And when taking a look into the numbers of each of these individual performances, and all of them definitely having their key moments, it somehow already seems safe to say, but from everything seen, Kenny Pickett has already drastically improved in some of the major flawed areas that people discussed that would have definitely held him back from being a viable starting quarterback right out of the gate in his NFL career. And for quick example to start this, let's just take a look at his pocket presence. Because for this already being a skeptical point of Kenny Pickett's game and being thrown into this Pittsburgh Steelers team who has had a suspect offensive line throughout this preseason to say the very least, you could most certainly say that Kenny Pickett has looked the most comfortable in this situation so far out of all 3 quarterbacks and their reps. And personally, I think if you threw any other rookie quarterbacks into the situation Kenny Pickett is in right now, I don't think you'd see nearly the level of success and comfort that we're seeing this man display. Because while college is very clearly a far easier competition level than the NFL, people who have watched him extensively at both levels are stating that this is the most comfortable that he has ever looked playing the game. Whether he was operating in a mid-quarter drive, running through a 2-minute drill, connecting on a short route, or even hitting the deep ball, there is very few flaws in his game that Kenny Pickett has given Mike Tomlin to look at. And then of course, getting into the deep ball as we mentioned, while yes, we haven't seen any 40 to 50 yard bombs from Kenny Pickett quite yet, his mid to deep level accuracy definitely hasn't left as much cause for concern as some people might have anticipated. Because in fact, for a Steelers team who hasn't been able to use the deep ball as consistently as others, due in large part to again their offensive line, when Kenny Pickett finally does get the starting nod, he's most certainly only going to be operating in what will work best for this offense. And again, from everything we've seen so far, he has been nothing short of sensational in all of the areas that people were extremely worried about regarding him. Now with all of this, is this me implying or saying that Kenny Pickett should be the starter in week 1? To be honest with you, I'm not so sure still. And I only say this thinking in the sense that it would be extremely detrimental to the mindset of Kenny Pickett if, to say he were to be named the starter going into week 1, he maybe doesn't see the same level of success that he was seeing in his preseason performances and ends up getting benched 2 or 3 weeks into the year. And with saying this, am I discrediting everything that we've seen from Kenny Pickett so far? Absolutely not. But I think everyone can agree that regardless of who is playing and what position it's at, that you'll never truly know what a player will be able to do in the regular season until you see them in that given situation. Regardless though, when the day finally comes that we get to see Kenny Pickett live in action this season, and it will be sooner than later, alongside the wide receiver core, I'm also extremely anxious to see in guys like Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Calvin Austin, and rookie standout George Pickens. No matter how long it actually takes to see Kenny Pickett finally operating this offense, I truly do believe that he is going to end up turning even more heads than what he already has through his phenomenal preseason stint. But of course, as with everything else we discuss here on the channel, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But also, with everything we have already seen through training camp and the preseason regarding Kenny Pickett, I am extremely curious to hear what you guys have to say. So please let me know in the comments what has impressed you the most from what you've seen out of Kenny Pickett so far. And also, do you think Mike Tomlin should give him the nod to start week 1, or should they just roll with Mitch Trubisky as the plan seemingly was all along? But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. I appreciate all of the support from you guys since we recently started this channel, and we're going to continue to come out with brand new NFL content every single week as the season goes on. So again, just trust me, you do not want to miss out. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.